Good evening. Thank you all for being here for our city council meeting, which is the last one for the month of October. We're trying to make sure we have everybody here for the opening ceremony. We have an opening prayer to be led by Pastor Sarah McClellan Brown of First United Methodist Church. Thank you for being here, ma'am. And the Pledge of Allegiance to be done by Warner Robins Fire Department Captain Calvin Huggins. Is he present? Okay. So we'll have Assistant Chief Mock, who will be standing in for the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would please stand while Pastor McClellan Brown starts us off in prayer.
Will you pray with me? Holy God, we thank you for your work in this place, for how we see uplifted the face of this international city in this gathering, for the proclamations that are to be issued today, celebrating the vibrant cultural makeup of this place that we are privileged to call home. We lift up the Filipino community and Filipino Heritage Month and the ways in which we get to celebrate it. Holy God, when our wounds are not visible, you still know them. And so we thank you for the ways in which the efforts to raise awareness and help those who need our support and protection have come to fruition in proclamations to shed awareness for those with lupus, from the pain and strength that they have, to the pain and strength of those who experience domestic violence. You call us to serve you with the gifts that we have, Holy God, and we thank you for the work of those who gather here. Where desires might diverge, may your ways prevail over our wants. May we who are called to serve always uplift those in need of our protection and celebrate those who may be different from us. We see the good work that you bring before us, and we know the preparation that has come to bring us to this point. And so we pause to celebrate it. Let us always put you first and your ways above our own. Thank you for the privilege of this work and for the blessing that it is to do it. In your many holy names we pray. Amen. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may all be seated, except for council, because we've got to take our photos. Thank you, Pastor Sarah McClellan Brown, for starting us off in prayer, and thank you, Assistant Chief Mock, for doing the pledge for us. I officially call today's meeting to order. All right. Okay. For an announcement, we do have one. On Saturday, October the 25th, we will have a domestic violence awareness event taking place at the North Houston Sports Complex. 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. North Houston Sports Complex Domestic Violence Awareness Event. This is an event that's going to be also having participating the Warner Robins Police Department, the Houston County Sheriff's Department, Crime Stoppers. I think all of the police departments in Houston County, Perry and Centerville, of course, our fire department as well. There are so many individuals involved in this event. As you all have seen and heard in the news, we have had an influx of domestic violence incidences inside the city of Warner Robins, across the state of Georgia, and across our nation. So bringing awareness to this is important, making sure individuals who are in a domestic violence situation know the resources and have the strength and courage to do something about it. That's what this event is going to be about. So it is a walk a mile event. Stand together, save lives. That's the slogan. And I want to thank Assistant Chief of Police Edwards. I don't think he's here, but thank him for naming this, giving it its slogan, and giving us everything that we need to make this event a success. So we hope that you all are out here on the 25th, Saturday, North Houston Sports Complex, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. For this event. It's going to be great. Bring your walking shoes, bring your purple. We got to wear purple to represent the Domestic Violence Month. All right. Next, we have proclamations, awards, and presentations. We have proclamations. We have 3 proclamations, 1 presentation, and also a pinning for Warner Robins Fire Department. We'll start with the proclamation for the Filipino American History Month. I'm going to go here, and if anyone is here to receive any of the proclamations, I ask that you come forward when your proclamation is called. All right, the first proclamation we're going to read today is for Filipino American History Month. And anyone here to accept this proclamation, you may come forward. All right, Filipino American History Month is October 2025. And it goes, whereas Filipino Americans comprise one of the largest Asian American ethnic groups in the United States today, with a vibrant history dating back to the earliest documented settlement on October the 18th, 1587, when mariners known as Luzanos Indios, under Spanish command, landed in Morro Bay, California. And whereas, during World War II, more than 260,000 Filipinos and Filipino American soldiers answered the call to serve, bravely serving and sacrificing under the American flag. The Filipino Veterans of World War II Congressional Gold Medal Act passed unanimously through Congress and was signed into law December of 2016. And whereas Georgia is home to approximately 51,600 Filipino Americans who greatly contribute to the multifaceted fabric of our society through their service in the armed forces and their expertise as medical and healthcare professionals, scientists, entrepreneurs, accountants, educators, lawyers, and public servants, as well as through their civic participation and impact on the economy and community life. And whereas it is essential to instill in our youth an understanding of the importance of education, history, and heritage in shaping proud cultural identities, fostering distinguished role models, and nurturing exceptional citizens of our nation. And whereas the contributions of Filipino Americans have enriched the freedom, prosperity, and greatness that America enjoys today, and the customs and traditions of the Filipino American community are honored as a vital part of the rich history of our state and nation. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by myself as Mayor of Warner Robins, on behalf of our City Councilmen and the citizens of Warner Robins, do hereby proclaim October 2025 officially as Filipino American History Month in the city of Warner Robins, Georgia. I encourage all citizens to learn more about and honor the history, culture, and achievements of the Filipino American community. So let's put our hands together and congratulate our friends for the Filipino American History Month.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Today is a great day. I would like to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to the City of Warner Robins, guided by the visionary leadership of Mayor LaRonda Patrick and her constituents, for welcoming the Filipino American community's initiative to officially recognize October as Filipino American History Month. This important milestone is made possible through collaborations with multiple organizations, including the Philippine Honorary Consul General of Atlanta, led by Raul Ray Donato, Makabayan of Georgia Incorporated, the Filipino American History Month Committee of Georgia, and Kapit Bisig in Middle Georgia. In 1988, the Filipino American National Historical Society took a pioneering step by declaring the first Filipino American History Month, a proposal that gained traction in 1991 and was officially recognized by the U.S. Congress in 2009. A significant moment in this history occurred in 2015 when President Barack Obama hosted the inaugural celebration of Filipino American History Month at the White House, highlighting the contributions of our community at the highest level of government. October holds a special place in the hearts of Filipino Americans for two important reasons. First, this month marks the historical arrival of the first Filipinos in the United States, specifically landing in Morro Bay, California, on October 18, 1587. This event symbolizes the beginning of a rich and inspiring narrative of Filipino migration to the U.S. Second, October is the birth month of Larry Itliong, a revered Filipino-American labor leader who played an instrumental role on the West Coast labor movement. His legacy serves as a reminder of the struggles and achievements that have shaped our community over the years. Since its inception, Filipino American History Month has been commemorated in various states, providing a platform for reflection on our rich history, vibrant culture, and enduring heritage, while highlighting the remarkable achievements and ongoing struggles of Filipino Americans. Currently, there are around 4.6 million Filipino Americans, making us the third largest Asian origin population in the United States. Georgia, in particular, is home to a thriving community of 51,636 Filipino Americans, each making invaluable contributions to diverse sectors such as military, healthcare, education, legal fields, politics, business, and beyond. The journey of celebrating Filipino American History Month in Georgia began in 2019, when the passionate Miss Jane Rowland took the lead. Now let me pause and join me in recognizing Miss Jane Rowland. Now, under her stewardship, this initiative has grown exponentially, expanding from just 2 events to an impressive 8 events in 2024. Jane is an inspiring leader who served as the president of the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce of Georgia, From 2021 to 2023, she has dedicated 17 years to advocating essential literacy and clean water initiatives through the Galing Foundation. In a significant triumph to our community, Governor Brian Kemp proclaimed October as Filipino-American History Month in Georgia this year, thanks to Jane's relentless advocacy. In the city of Warner Robins, our Filipino-American community is flourishing, with numerous individuals and organizations making strides in various fields, including healthcare, business, legal services, and the military. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize some of the key contributors to our vibrant community. A.B&C Oriental Store, Asian Bliss, Bliss Bakery, Couples for Christ, Damayan Feel American in Middle Georgia, Dancing Mom Crew, Elena's Noodle Bar, Filipino Christian or Filipino-American Christian Fellowship, Filipino-Hawaiian Fusion, Filipino Nurses in Middle Georgia, Georgia Care, J&A Food Truck, Kapit Bisig in Middle Georgia, Lore's Food Truck, MJ Asian Market and Filipino Food, and TB Dabu Spa. Thank you all for your attention.
Oh, I got it. Good. Yeah. Jump on three. I'll say, if y'all need to sit on my shoulders, I can carry you. I'll give it to you tomorrow. Update on this here.
Where's the other parent?
Yes. Oh, where's my flowers? Oh, Sylvia.
Want me to take it? Oh, please. Oh, let's see here. Let's flip that around. You don't want a picture of me. There we go. Okay. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Thank you, sir.
Mayor, all the best. God bless you. You got me, Mayor.
Thank you.
Another 3 years.
Yes, yes. Another 4. Yes, more and more.
What are the divine nine here for? AKAs and the Zetas. I don't see him on here. She's links. All right. Now we're moving on to the second proclamation, which is for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If anyone is here to accept this proclamation, I ask that you please come forward. Domestic Violence Awareness Month, October 2025. Whereas in 1987, October was declared Domestic Violence Awareness Month to bring attention to the profound physical, emotional, and psychological harm that domestic violence places on victims of all backgrounds and their families. And whereas 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience severe, intimate partner physical violence, and children who witness domestic violence are at an increased risk of lifelong physical and mental health challenges. And the cycle of violence often continues from one generation to the next, if not addressed, highlighting the urgent need for awareness and prevention. And whereas domestic violence is a social issue that requires a collective response from communities, organizations, and individuals to create safe environments for all. And whereas raising awareness about domestic violence is crucial for empowering victims to seek help and educate the public on the signs and resources available. And whereas countless advocates, survivors, and service providers work tirelessly to support victims and promote policies that protect and empower those affected by domestic violence, while also raising public awareness and promoting health, respectful relationships, helping to reduce stigma, empower survivors, and encourage community involvement in prevention efforts. And whereas, during the month of October, Domestic Violence Awareness Month provides an important opportunity to unite individuals or organizations in our community to support survivors, honor those lost to domestic violence, and commit to ending abuse. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by myself, on behalf of council and the citizens of Warner Robins, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the city of Warner Robins, Georgia. I call upon all citizens to join in raising awareness, advocating for prevention, and supporting organizations dedicated to ending domestic violence. Let us stand together in solidarity with survivors, promote education, and foster a community where everyone can live free from fear and violence. So let's give a round of applause for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And since there is no one here to accept this proclamation, I do ask if we will give a small moment of silence for those who we have lost in our community and who are dealing with domestic violence in our community, and those who we have lost due to domestic violence in our community lately. So if you'll please give a moment of silence with me. Thank you. All right, the next proclamation is for Lupus Awareness Month. If anyone is here to accept this proclamation for lupus awareness, I ask that you please come forward. Lupus Awareness Month, October 2025. Lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease first described in the 19th century that causes the immune system to attack healthy tissues, affecting organs such as the skin, joints, kidneys, and brain, with over 5 million people affected worldwide, and approximately 16,000 new cases are diagnosed annually in the United States. And whereas an estimated 1.5 million Americans live with lupus, a disease known for its complex, often misunderstood symptoms that lead to frequent misdiagnoses and which disproportionately affect people of color, including African American, Hispanic, Asian, and Native American women. And whereas organizations, advocates, and healthcare professionals across the country work tirelessly during the month of October and throughout the year to raise awareness, support research, and provide critical resources to those affected by lupus. And whereas recognizing October as Lupus Awareness Month helps bring visibility to this often invisible illness, encourages early diagnosis and treatment, and empowers patients and their families through community support and advocacy. And whereas continued investment in lupus research, public education, and patient advocacy is essential to improving diagnoses, treatment, and ultimately finding a cure for this life-altering disease. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by myself on behalf of City Council and the citizens of Warner Robins, we do by here proclaim the month of October 2025 as Lupus Awareness Month in the City of Warner Robins. I encourage all citizens and residents to learn more about this disease, support those affected, and participate in efforts to find a cure. So let's give a round of applause for Lupus Awareness Month in Warner Robins, October 2025. All right, now we're here for Employee Service Awards. Is Miss Melanie Byer here? So she can come forward and assist us with this part of our meeting.
Thank you. All right, good evening. We have 5 employees that we want to celebrate this evening. We're going to begin with Miss Kimberly Chamberlain. She is a records technician with the police department with 5 years of service. Next, we have Miss Nalda James. She's a receptionist with the City Administrator's Office with 5 years of service. and next we have Ms. Lara Moncrief. She's a projects coordinator with our General Administration Department, better known as with our Convention and Visitors Bureau, with 5 years of service. Next, we have Ms. Savannah Register. She's an animal control officer with our police department with 5 years of service. And the last employee we'll recognize this evening is Officer John Richards III. He's a police officer with our police department with 10 years of service.
All right, so next up, we have a pinning ceremony for the Warner Robins Fire Department. Is Chief Wright present? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we'd like to pin our newly promoted captain, Captain Andre Grace. Cap, if you would come forward with you. Yes. If the command staff would come up also, please. Just, who's going to do the pinning? Okay. See, Mr. Grace is going to have his father do the pinning. Captain Grace is also a newly assigned training and safety officer, which is a new division for us. And he's doing a great job so far. Captain Grace also has 25 years of service with the city of Warner Robins. Okay.
All right. And before we get to item 1, which is work session, there's one other announcement I want to make. Haven Hope House did have its ribbon cutting on Friday, and I want to take this opportunity to thank some of the team that helped make this possible, so that we're not recognized on Friday. So Miss Felicia Wright, if you'll come forward. If Mr. Ken Thompson. Ken Thompson. Mr. Tim Thomas. Bobby, come up in this place. Lauren Polk. All right, so if you all would just give a round of applause for this team. Thank you so much for all the efforts you all put in, going above and beyond to make sure that this project came to fruition. Thank you. All right, now we will start with item 1. Now, item 1 of our agenda, which is the work session item, which is a discussion.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For those unfamiliar, the work session is designed as an informational period for mayor, council, and staff, as well as the public. This is when we'll, from time to time, bring forward items that may come forward at a later date for decisions. But this is an opportunity for us to refine those items, respond to questions that council may have, et cetera. It also is an opportunity for us to respond to questions or provide additional information to council on items that will be appearing later on this agenda. Tonight, we do not have any upcoming work session items to address. There are a couple of things, however, that I would like to mention before we get into tonight's agenda. The first is an item that we had hoped to have on tonight's agenda that is not, and that is the awarding or consideration of the award of a contract for the design of our Vietnam Veterans Memorial. We are prepared to bring forward a recommendation at the next council meeting. Unfortunately, the contracts took a little longer to get in hand and get reviewed, so we were unable to get that on tonight's agenda. So you will be hearing that on November 3rd. We do have a recommendation for that and funding in place to fund that work. The second item actually deals with tonight's agenda, and that's a request to remove from the consent agenda item 3H4. Item 3H4, that is a consideration of a contract for a traffic study for Houston Lake and Quarter Roads centering on that intersection. I think there's going to be a fair amount of discussion and potentially different thoughts about that. So I'd like to move that to the business item on tonight's agenda to facilitate that. With that, Mayor and Council, staff and I stand ready to respond to questions or provide additional information on any items that are on tonight's agenda.
Yes, sir. Could you, I'm sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, could you explain, I kind of know a little bit about the item you just mentioned. Could you kind of explain that just a little bit?
Yes, sir, and I'm going to ask Mr. Vic Savage to come forward to assist with that. that is coming from our engineering and planning department, and Vic will be able to do a better job explaining it. There has been one study done in that area prior, but of course in recent months we've seen a couple of applications for new development proposals in that area. Obviously that's one of our more congested intersections, which is a concern for our residents as well as all of us here in this room. And so what we want to do is we want to do a new look at that intersection, look at it with the proposals that we are aware of in mind, as well as potential build out of anything else in that immediate area. Look at existing conditions and data analysis, as well as forecasting and projecting the impacts of those proposals, and look at what mitigation efforts or measures may be able to be employed to improve or mitigate any traffic impacts on that intersection. That gave, you have nothing? I know you can say more than that.
And you can tell in the packet you have on the traffic projections on sheet 3, it kind of gives you an overall map of the incoming developments and what they're going to be looking at. And we hope to get a good report from them, and they'll offer suggestions on any improvements needed in those areas. They're going to look at those 3 intersections: Quarter, Houston Lake, Quarter and Russell, and then Russell and Houston Lake.
I think one of the things that we want to point out is that, you know, rather than having individual developments do traffic studies that are just going to look at their development, we really need to take a more holistic approach, and the city's really the only one that can do that. So this would be $21,000?
Yeah.
$21,000 expense on that to execute that project.
And I would add, it is coming out of the LMIG funding.
Okay.
So it's not directly out of our budget.
I just want to say thank you, Mr. Savage and Mr. Drinker, for getting this on tonight's agenda, and we've been asking for it, so thank you.
I got a couple questions, Mayor, if I can ask. You said the 3 intersections, it's going to do Russell and South Houston Lake, it's going to do Quarter and South Houston Lake, and then it's going to do Quarter and Russell at the other end also?
Yes.
We are not including Fagan Mill and South Houston Lake into this study?
That is going to be included in the projected traffic counts coming from that intersection.
Okay.
Down towards the area.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
and
what I was asking.
It's labeled on there.
So this is a bigger traffic study to be done than Mr. Fricks would do on that property, correct?
It is.
Okay, so I know in the last council meeting, we put in there for Mr. Fricks to do a traffic study. And I didn't understand that, why we put that down as a stipulation. I just want to say, for just listening, I think we're going to make that man waste some money that he doesn't have to spend if we're going to do this big traffic study.
So if council is comfortable with it, our intent would be that by us doing this study, it would alleviate the necessity for him to do that. But ultimately, it's council's decision. If you're okay with that. I'm sorry.
That was not one of the stipulations that was included in the motion for that approval.
It was, so there was I think it was Mr. Newton's project that was tabled pending a traffic study. I think that's the one you're referring to, Councilman. It was tabled pending him performing a traffic study, but it would be our intent that we would not require him to do that because this study would cover the same territory and get that job done and then some.
Okay, I just want to make clarification. I know that you made, do you still have those amendments you made, Councilman Lashley? I would like, they're in there? Okay. Thank you for correcting me. I stand corrected.
And I would mention the Mr. Fricks parcel did not have a use yet. So it's kind of hard to propose without any use. So it may be needed depending on what they want to do with that piece.
Right.
So these are the motions. It says any commercial use proposed to the site must submit a traffic study.
So on Mr. Frick's project, the way that is set up, anything that comes forward at a later date, because remember, he had no uses proposed. And so the direction under that is that if a commercial use was proposed at a future date for that site, a traffic study for that specific commercial use would have to be provided. Because at this time, as Mr. Savage said, there isn't a use proposed on that particular project. And so what we would tend to do on that, we would look at maximum potential build-out as zoned and use that as how we model the data.
Thank you guys very much for doing this. This is well needed, and we appreciate that. And I know the community is going to appreciate that traffic study in that intersection for sure.
Thank you.
So, I'm sorry, help me understand. So, but one of the reasons we're doing the traffic study because we're looking at the rezoning, so we're not gonna do it based off of the R1 zoning that it is, but based off the zoning that he's requesting, correct? The recommendations are gonna come from the rezoning that he's requesting.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Any additional questions with respect to items on tonight's agenda? Okay, very good. Madam Mayor, the only other thing I would offer would be, and I will leave that to you later in tonight's meeting to reference attendance at this past week's event. I think that'd be something you'd like to celebrate, so I don't want to take your thunder. Councilman Mack?
Yes, based upon how we did things in the pre-council meetings prior to an opportunity to have a discussion, or bring up something that we like to have a discussion on or make a suggestion outside of what's on this agenda, I would like to just let it be known that I would like to see some type of mitigation as far as alcohol licensings in our city and capping that to include vape shops.
Yes, sir.
See where we at with that and what's our plan with that.
Yes, sir. We have a few items that are working their way through the Planning Commission process right now. One of those will change or provide for a definition of tobacco and something shop. I can't remember exactly how we worded it, but it also addresses any business, the primary use of which would be the selling of tobacco, CBD, vape, or related products. It provides certain restrictions with respect to distance, minimum distance from each other, schools, churches, parks, government facilities, neighborhoods, residences, and each other. And that minimum distance is 2,000 feet, which is substantial. That, I believe, is coming forward in November. Mr. Curtis is nodding. So that item comes forward in November. There was some conversation around additional restrictions on package alcohol sales businesses with respect to things like minimum lot sizes and minimum square footages for the establishments themselves. We're still doing a little bit of work on that to make some determinations about kind of what may be appropriate dimensions on that so that we don't do something that's just purely let's pull a number out of the air.
So what I've just done a little research, and like our neighbors, Macon Bibb put a cap on the amount of alcohol establishments, liquor stores, particularly to include Fort Valley. And it seemed like there are abundance of people coming to Warner Robins because there's no cap on how many liquor stores per capita people and citizens we have in the city. and we got liquor stores and vape shops. I want to know, is there any discussion about putting a cap on the amount of liquor stores that can apply for licensing here in Warner Robins?
Yes, we did have one ordinance already come through to upgrade or be more strict on alcohol licensing.
Yes.
And during that time, we talked about, as a group, that we would be looking at vape, also gaming machines, which includes potentially putting caps or moratoriums on those. The team's doing the work to get all the research done to make sure the laws are good, we're not going to get challenged at any level, and then they're going to bring them back to us with a recommendation on all the things that you just mentioned. So we look forward to seeing it. We took one step as a body when it comes to the alcohol licenses, and we'll further those things with all the things that you just stated. So I think we're headed in the right direction. I know we see the urgency because people flocking to Warner Robins since Macon, and I think Perry they have their regulations. So we'll make sure we move as expeditiously as possible to stop the unwanted businesses from coming here that may put us in a bad spot.
Yes, ma'am.
I have one more question. Also, my ignorance, excuse me for it, but is there any stipulations that you cannot open up any liquor stores in a close proximity of churches?
Yes.
Because I noticed one across on Dunbar, right across the street from a church. It's a Dunbar? No, Carl Vinson. Yeah, Northside Baptist, right across the street, there's a liquor store, right across the street from the church. It's not open yet, but it's a big sign with a convenience store and liquors. I'm like,
So state law prohibits, I think it's 100 feet, 100 yards, I get feet and cube, 100 yards. And our
correct.
application here at the city says 300 feet, which you have to keep them separate because they're different units of measurement. So we do follow state law in that regard. As far as distance requirements, it's not a city requirement, it is a state law requirement. Now, we can be less restrictive, but we cannot be more restrictive than state law. And I will say, on the issue of Lake Macon's ordinance, the ordinance that was voted on last meeting or 2 meetings ago was actually, part of it was modeled on Macon's ordinance. And I'm not sure that Macon has currently a cap or a moratorium, but that would be a separate discussion as far as no more issuance, but as far as increased regulation, the ordinance that was approved by you all was modeled in part on Macon's ordinance.
Correct.
so when approving these, I would like for that, which she just said about the distance from churches to be enforced, because it seems like they're pretty in close proximity of that. And how did it even get passed if it was that close to a church?
We will double check the distance on that. Typically that would be done at the time a permit is applied for. Ms. Stella, have they applied at this time? It's not one that rings a bell for me.
I'm not familiar with that location, but if you'll let me know, I will certainly check into it. And there are some provisions for that we do go out and measure for distance during the application process. There are some issues where if a business was there before a church and a church decides to locate there, they could be grandfathered in.
Correct.
I think this convenience store is a new construction site.
Okay. If you'll let me know that, I will most certainly check on it first thing in the morning.
It's a convenience store, and right next to the convenience store is a liquor store, but I'm pretty sure it's more than 300 feet away from the church.
We'll double check it.
And there are some about packaged liquor store sales versus beer and wine sales at a convenience store versus a liquor store. So there are some differences in the distance requirements. But again, we will check on that first thing in the morning.
May I ask a question, please?
Is that Forest Lake and Carl Vinson? Forest Lake and Carl Vinson.
Mr. Holmes, I'm sorry.
Yes, okay, yes. As these applicants are applying for gas stations that we look deeply into this, because many of these things are coming under the auspices of a gas station. And the next thing you know, they are serving alcohol or selling alcohol. So let's be sure we're cognizant of that.
Yes, sir. That's, in fact, we were just having a discussion, Ms. Stella, Mr. Curtis, and I, on a property that was interested in putting a convenience store with gas sales, and that's one of the items that we were discussing with them.
And some of them are disguised as convenience stores, but they're just gaming. And we're getting on top of that, too. Okay.
That's great. I would like to make a comment. I have a diverse thought that I want to throw in there. I have been mentioning gaming for quite some time, of looking at upping the fees on that, and also the restrictions of the gaming, the time of the gaming places that are open. I want us to look at that too. I don't think that we're actually charging enough money for these gaming machines, because they're everywhere. And we might want to look at having a moratorium on them also. And I'm all for that also. And I want to reiterate to what Councilman Mack said, and I appreciate the city moving forward to the word restrictions, restrictions, restrictions. And we're moving forward towards that. But I hope we continue to have the discussion on a moratorium on liquor stores and vape shops in our city. I think we have overabundance of them already. And I am all for putting a moratorium on those types of businesses in our city.
Councilman, if I could address moratoriums in general, you know, I always cringe a little bit when I hear that word, because it can throw a panic. But moratoriums in Georgia are issued not without a potential end in sight. So in Georgia, you can do a moratorium for, say, 30 days while you work on an ordinance or while you study an issue. So you have to do it for a set period of time. Now, you can extend that set period as long as you are still working on whatever it is that you are working on, but it's not something, so you don't just declare a moratorium and that's it. You declare a moratorium, and then you do it for the purpose of providing time to adopt an ordinance to regulate or to complete an analysis or something like that. And then, you know, that moratorium can be 30 days, 6 months, has to be inside a year. And then once you complete the work that you declared the moratorium to do, then the moratorium gets lifted once you've completed the work and adopted an ordinance or whatever.
That's great. I'm glad you explained it like that. I'm all for putting a one-year moratorium on vape shops and alcohol stores inside the city of Warner Robins.
Yes, sir. Understood.
And I'm in agreement as well.
Okay. I'll work with the city attorney, and we'll pull some stuff together, and we'll try. Julia, we should be able to have simple moratorium language ready for the next meeting, yes? We'll have something on the November 3rd agenda.
And I do want to point out that our legislature in 2024, they did expand the coin-operated amusement machines when it comes to the rewards. And it's been a subject on our state's legislature. So whenever we do have to keep track of what's happening in Atlanta for the gaming machines too. So we never can be more restrictive than the state.
Correct.
One other thing from me. As we look at what Councilman Bibb and Councilman Mack has proposed, I would ask that you look at we look at a block of a distance of how many of these places we can put within the area. You know, we don't let them pile them out 1 block, 3 blocks later, and what have you.
Yes, sir. The ordinance that we recently adopted on packaged alcohol sales does set restrictions on that. The ordinance that would address tobacco, CBD, and vape, that also has a distance requirement. Gaming, I'll have to dig into. That's one I have less experience with. but Ms. Mize and I will work on that and ensure that we are consistent with what state law allows us to do.
I just wanted to add, as far as state law on hours of operation of coin-operated amusement machines, there are already limits and restrictions on that. I was trying to pull up the exact hours, but I know it's timed, I believe, with the lottery. So there already are state restrictions, so I'm not sure we could be more restrictive than the state hours of operation, but I will definitely look at that.
Yeah. We'll do some research, and we'll come back to you at the next meeting. And we'll discuss it at the same time we're looking at that. When we introduce the moratorium item, we can dig into a little bit of that, let you know what we've learned, and I can also work with Chief Fisher and his team to provide an update on how we're handling the enforcement side of all of that. Yes, sir.
Mr. Drinkard, I want to thank Councilman Mack for doing a lot of research in this area. One thing he did bring to my attention, and it does have a big impact, is that the surrounding communities have begun restricting the operating hours of these liquor stores. And so now Warner Robins has become a destination for late night liquor runs, is what it's looking like, which can lead to a lot of problems if it hasn't already. I don't know if Chief Fisher could chime in on that. I don't know if we've had an increase in alcohol-related traffic situations, or I'm just not really sure, but I know that is something we need to look at as well, and thank you, Councilman Mack, for pointing that out.
We'll take a look at that, and Chief Fisher and I will be ready to provide some additional information November 3rd.
So there are already restrictions on gaming hours? So convenience stores that are open 24 hours, they have to shut down their gaming machines?
To whatever at least to whatever the state says. The state did, my memory when I was in classes was that the state did expand the hours that gaming machines can operate for the state of Georgia. But we're just trying to confirm that that's proper.
Thank you, Mayor. And also, to piggyback on what Councilman Holmes said, it seems like those game machines are congregated in a certain area of our city. I don't know what the answer is, but it's some kind of way I wish we could mitigate that some kind of way, because it just looks bad. They're selling dreams to impoverished people. Lower income folks, they prey on those type of people. And they're congregated in those lower end neighborhoods, and it's a concern of mine. I just didn't know how to address it, but I can't do nothing but hit it on the head.
Yes, sir, I understand. Again, Ms. Mize is over there pouring through state law right now. We need to do a little more research. The gaming piece of it is not one that we have been working on because of the state regulations. Let us do our research. We'll come back to you prepared to discuss on November 3rd.
If I could add my little 2 cents to that too. I know you, Councilman Lawrenson asked about a report from Chief Fisher, about DUIs or whatever, right? Is there any way that you could segregate it from the liquor stores versus the restaurants and the clubs?
What you would be asking us to do is to specifically target for enforcement, which that's the case we don't. We monitor the roadway traffic.
Chief Fisher, for the record, if you could, because we do have people listening.
We don't sit there and manage out specifically institutions that are selling liquor in and of itself. That would be targeting businesses in that regard onto that. I mean, you'd end up with a disproportionate approach point to it. So no to that answer. What I can tell you, though, is we've had an increase of DUIs through enforcement actions through this year because of the staffing that we've had to be able to detail towards that. But to specify to a particular business or location, whether it's a bar or an institution that sells packaged liquor, the answer would be no.
And Chief, too, like, are we citing people from out of county more than usual? You know, like, I think a lot of people are coming in from Macon Bibb or somewhere else, you know, so it's not necessarily our citizens, though they're exposed to it. But
if I'm understanding your question is off of the DUI enforcement, are we noticing that the offenders of DUIs are from
whether from our community or not.
Yes.
We don't track that.
Okay.
I could sit there and say we could gather that data by running a query point on the citations, but again, we're not targeting with that as a focus point to the violation in and of itself. We're just addressing the root cause of the violation of impaired driving.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. So just for a clarification of what Chief said, there is a higher amount of stops dealing with alcohol-related instances, but it is due to us having more officers on the street at night to capture these type of offenders. Am I correct?
Correct. We've been able to do more focused enforcement onto that with the increased staff.
Thank you. All right, this is a good discussion. Anything else? We have a lot of good regulations coming our way. Going to keep our team quite busy. That's a good thing. Yes, Councilman Holmes.
It was mentioned, a question, however I want to phrase it, about gaming. Now, gaming, at one point, and I don't know now, but at one point, gaming was stopped. The sale of gaming was closed down at 11 o'clock. Has that been changed?
Yes, that is correct. At the same time as the lottery currently. To the best of my knowledge, that has not been changed in state law.
That's what I was asking.
That's a state ordinance,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, that's a state, yeah.
Correct. And, you know, there are, again, this is why, and I apologize. I know I keep saying we'll do some work and come back to you on November 3rd, but I don't want to give you incorrect information. And in some cases, we can be more restrictive, but not less restrictive than state law. And in other cases, you can be less restrictive, but not more restrictive. So I don't want us to give you incorrect information. So we need to do some homework.
And in addition, I want to look at raising or having a discussion about the taxes, the cost to get licensing to do that. Because I think currently it's at like 5,000. Don't quote it if you don't know.
I was going to say, yeah, we'll be prepared to discuss it.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
That's okay. We have a lot of licenses and fees. Any other questions or topics you would like to discuss during the work session?
I got one more thing, and
yes, sir.
I would like for you to compile some information for the mayor and council, if you can send it to us, please, on the blight, the businesses that we're currently have put the tax on, because I would like to really know before I start coming to you saying, is this building on here? Is this building on here? Is this building on here? I would like you to please give all of us the general information of what we're doing on blight so we're informed.
Yes,
because there's a couple buildings on Watson Boulevard that I want to know has it been blighted or the owner been communicated with about the boards up in their windows that's been there for multiple years. And so I want to know what's being done. Please, if you can let us know and just give us that information.
Yes, sir. We were having a discussion about that actually last week, refining that list. I can tell you the way that the ordinance is written. We're in the process. Everything we were doing was gearing up towards being able to assess the blight tax beginning in January. There's some, we had to go through an identification process. There's a notification process. There's several steps we have to go through. So everything was being geared towards, after January 1, beginning to assess the tax on specific properties. But we can give you an update on all of that next council meeting.
Will you say January 1, 2026?
That is correct, sir.
Okay.
And are we ready to seat the code enforcement board yet? Is that something?
I'm going through the applications we received from interested citizens who expressed interest in serving on that board. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember how many we received. I apologize. But we are going through those now, preparing to bring a recommendation to the mayor as to who those members would be.
Is that looking good as far as the number of quality?
I believe so, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, will there be anything else for us to discuss during the work session? Any agenda items that need to be discussed? All right,
you,
hearing
Mayor,
none.
Council.
Thank you, Mr. Drinkard. Hearing none, I would like to request a motion to adopt the agenda with the revision of adding item 6, with the revision of adding item number 6 to be a motion for building and inspections, Maldino and Wilburn, traffic engineering consultants, to be discussed by
Me.
Councilman Lawrenson.
Mayor, I move to adopt the agenda with the movement of item 3H4, building and inspections, to item number 6, creating a new item number 6 in order to conduct this traffic study.
And I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Mack. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries. Item number 2, which is formal public comments pertaining to current agenda items only. If there's anyone here who'd like to make a comment about agenda items 3 through 6 as amended, you will have your opportunity to approach the podium. Please be sure to state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes on the clock. The floor is now open if you have a comment about an agenda item only. Any other comments will be reserved until after the agenda items are complete.
Yep. Hey, guys. My name is Tim Burgle. I live at 202 Spanish Trail. I'm going to attempt to throw a stick in your spokes and hopefully frame something in such a way that you haven't thought about before. So I want to speak tonight about 2 items on tonight's agenda that could have a big impact on quality of life here in Warner Robins. 3F and now what's number 6 on the agenda. The parking lot expansion at North Houston Sports Complex and the proposed traffic study for the Corder Road and Houston Lake Road corridor. Let's start with the sports complex. Programs there serve kids, teens, and seniors, the very people who drive the least. Yet right now, most have to drive because there's not a safe and convenient way to walk or bike in from the surrounding neighborhoods. If you look at a map, you'll see an almost straight connection from Walker's Pond to the complex along Sims Drive and Bruce Street. The city already owns property at Bruce and Alberta that could provide a perfect short cut through, a walk and bike path linking these neighborhoods directly to the complex. While a parking lot is being expanded, this is the most practical and cost-effective time to build that link. It would make the complex not just a city facility, but a true neighborhood amenity, improving safety for non-drivers, reducing car trips, and supporting the city's own goals in the RATS 2050 plan. If the scope of this work can't be adjusted, or there's not some other upcoming projects that could incorporate it, I would suggest pausing this decision. The second item is the proposed $21,000 traffic study for the Houston Lake Road corridor. I understand what it means to balance speed and quality. Having owned and operated fast food restaurants, I know that speed matters, but it isn't everything. You can't serve food that's fast but unsafe or fast but low quality. A traffic study is the same way. If it only measures how quickly cars move and ignores safety, comfort, and long-term value, then it's only doing half the job. Traditional traffic studies, like the one being proposed, focus on speed and volume, but not on the things that make a place livable: noise, air quality, shade, safe crossings for kids and seniors, or walkability. If we only look at vehicle delay, we'll miss the chance to make this corridor safer, more connected, and more economically productive. We need a multimodal study that looks at everyone, drivers, walkers, bikes, kids, and seniors, and evaluates how this corridor can work for both residents, businesses, and those passing through. There's no downside to pausing this vote until a qualified firm is selected to evaluate safety, connectivity, and long-term livability. The firm selected for this traffic study is not qualified for a broader scope. I've looked at their website, and the scope of work as defined is blind to the big picture. Getting it right matters far more than getting it fast. I suggest pausing on this traffic study and rethink the scope beyond level of service. Warner Robins deserves planning that spreads value, not just asphalt. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burgle. Will there be any others? Going once, going twice, 3 times. The door is now closed. On to item number 3, which is the consent agenda to be discussed by Councilman Lashley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, including the October 6, 2025 meeting minutes, home occupation permits, resolution for Ardura Amendment Number 1 to Task Order Number 7, resolution for Infomark LLC, EGS Engineering, resolution for Infomark LLC, EGS Engineering Emergency Response Plan Update for safe drinking water, a resolution for Falcon Design Consultants, a resolution for Mid-Georgia Industrial Sales Incorporated, and the purchasing items of Attorney's Office Brinson Askew and Berry for $10,614.68. Police Department at Ray's Paint and Body Shop Auto Sales LLC for $30,000. Police Department for Daigle Law Group at $13,825. And utilities for GWES for $60,700.
I second it.
Motion by Councilman Lashley, seconded by Councilman Curtis. Any discussion?
Madam Mayor, I don't have a question, but I would like to, well, yes, it is a question. What are we using these attorneys that you listed for?
So I can't answer for the police department, but I can tell you for the item related to Brinson Askew and Berry, that is related to the city's defense on A2D. That case has been protracted and ongoing. Those fees are for a preparation of the city's summary judgment motion response as well as discovery. There's also a pending motion by plaintiffs in that case to recuse the sitting judge. And so those fees reflect the defense of the city on those items.
Madam City Attorney, am I correct in saying that that is insurance-appointed counsel?
It is counsel that the insurer directed us to, but the city is not under our insurance coverage. But yes, that was in consultation with James Westbury, who was the chief legal advisor of GERMA, or Gallagher Bassett, and participated in the selection of that firm to represent the city in that matter.
And you can't give me an answer about Brinson?
This is the other item, which is item 3H3 of our consent agenda for the Police Department Daigle Law Group, which is for a 12-month annual training module for Georgia Post Certified Training. Chief, can you give us a little more details, please?
Daigle Law Firm is a nationally accredited organization through the Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police as a referral for us when we go for executive level training. It's a firm that provides supervisory and executive level training in dealing with human resources, criminal and civil liabilities, and forward thinking and developing your future staff for the Warner Robins Police Department. This program is one that normally per student cost is right around $395 per student. By doing an en masse group, of which we have for the organization to be able to do roughly about 56 students, they gave us a cost of $245 per student. We talked numerous times within Mayor and Council on the development of our organization and staff for future leadership and development as we move on. This is a manner of approach to do that with a recognized organization at a national level.
Thank you so much, Chief, and I asked that so that the public would know.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Any further discussion?
Madam Mayor, for the item he just discussed, I think it's very important to have continued training, especially in the area of responsibility that you have to take care of to keep everything above board. I'm all for training our supervisors and police department.
And I believe these trainings are mandated, they're required, right? We're required to have a certain level of training or post certification?
The officer can get training through post-level certification. This is on top of that and more focused into the liabilities of personnel management in regards to where we're looking at with constitutional laws that's evolving in today's standards.
So we're going above and beyond the recommended trainings.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. And that's what you were talking about, Councilman Mack. Perfect. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 4 is an ordinance to be discussed by Councilman Holmes, and this is its second reading.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As you stated, this is a second reading, and I have before me a motion to approve the ordinance to amend Appendix C, Article 9, Section 71, 95, and 114 of the Code of the City of Warner Robins relating to the regulation of home permit, occupation permits, and I'm moving for the adoption.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilman Holmes, seconded by Councilman Lashley. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to point out that on the item description, bullet number 4, that it is, it does not preclude the person applying for the home occupation permit from being required to secure the signatures of immediately adjacent property owners. So that was one thing we were concerned about. Was that already in there previously?
No, sir. It is intended to be on the new application form. I know there was some discussion of requiring someone who receives that home occupation permit to have a sign in their yard for a period of time following issuance. I'm seeing a shaking of the head. I was going to say, it does not preclude that either. If that is something you would like us to do, we will do it. I'm not sure what to do with that.
You know.
Well, I thank you for addressing the concern of that we want the neighbors to know. So that I'm glad that's there.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
So here you go. You ready? I want to thank you, Mr. Drinker, for that. Appreciate that. Appreciate you listening to me and understand what I was trying to say. Thank you, Attorney Mize, for clarifying what you did. Thank you for Mandy for getting back in touch with me after the council meeting. And thank you, Darren Curtis, and also the mayor for informing me and us working through that situation. I am totally satisfied, and I was on board with what was happening. I want you to know that. That was just one small little thing that I had a problem with. I don't care if people put a sign in the yard, but I would like for the homeowners to at least left and right and across the street to let neighbors know that they're going to operate a business. I think that's fair, and I appreciate you guys accommodating that into the application process. Thank you for all the hard work you guys do. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Thank you, Councilman Beard, for doing that.
All right, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 5 is an ordinance for budget transfer to be discussed by Councilman Curtis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to approve an ordinance that $24,525 be transferred from the general fund balance reserve for capital projects established for neighborhood improvement projects on August the 2nd, 2021, via ordinance number 25-21 to the BNI and Public Works budget for the purpose of funding certain neighborhood improvement projects. Funding shall be taken from the balance reserve account number 10-33015 and placed into the operation expenditures accounts, account number 4221-53055 Public Works Street Maintenance, $6,400, account number 4260-53222, I'm sorry, 53222, and BNI Street and Lights, and the amount transferred of $18,125, which will add up to $24,524. Said funds shall be used for the purpose of completing the following projects: a Wind Place Common, installation of speed cushions along Wind Place between Wellborn Road and the reserves at Wind Place to address vehicle speeds; Robbins West street lights, upgrade of the 13 existing street lights within Robbins West neighborhood to 250-watt lights on 30-foot poles in addition to the new street lights. And I would like to waive the second reading.
Second that motion.
Motion by Councilman Curtis, waiving the second reading, seconded by Councilman Holmes. Any discussion?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to thank Victor Savage and the Planning and Engineering Department for mitigating these issues. That's been an area of concern for those constituents that live in that area. We heard them, and this is proof that we've implemented something to address the concerns and their needs for their current neighborhoods. So thank you for that.
Along with that, I'm not going to assume anything, but I'm hoping that that includes the light on Forest off of Pleasant Hill Road. I understand it's only one light in one house, but we've had some bad stuff that happen over there.
It does not include that particular light. That is coming forward next meeting.
Thank you very much.
Any further discussion? I would like to, just to clarify, for those who may not have been able to follow what this transfer is about, it's coming from our Neighborhood Improvement Fund. We're now moving it to be used in real projects. One of them is for the Wynn Place traffic calming to install speed cushions along Wynn Place, where we've had a lot of complaints from the neighborhood about the apartments that were installed behind the neighborhood and calming that traffic. We have speed cushions coming as the pilot program for speed cushions in our city. There's many communities, many neighborhoods who have requested these. So this is our first try. If it all goes well, we'll have more to come. I see you, sir. Yours too. And the street lights, there'll be 13 street lights that'll be upgraded in the Robbins West neighborhood. And then, as was stated by Councilman Holmes, other neighborhoods are requesting some lights that don't have any, and Mr. Drinkard already announced that that would come at a later date. So I just wanted to give some context to what we were talking about for those of you who may not have a packet and able to follow along with us. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 6, as amended, is a motion for building and inspections, Maldino and Wilburn Traffic Engineering Consultants, to be discussed by Councilman Lawrenson.
Thank you, Mayor. I motion to approve purchase requested by the Building and Inspections Department for Maldino and Wilburn Traffic Engineering Consultants for traffic study at the Corder Road, Houston Lake area for a total not to exceed $21,000.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Bibb. Any discussion? I will state, just because we did have a really nice suggestion given during our public comment section by Mr. Burgle, which of course he is with Robbins Ride Robbins. I always mix up the R's. But you make a great suggestion that we include some studies for bringing that space for walkability, biking, and other things when we're talking about expanding that park when it comes to parking. And that's something that we will be looking into. Even though it may not be included in this project, it could be updated to included in this project if the company can do it. But we also can find someone completely different to do a study for walkability, not just there, but throughout the obvious pieces of our community. We're already working on that Green Street corridor with the what is it called? Traffic diets, street diets. The street diet on Green Street, bringing in the biking and walking area so we can look further in connecting those. I know we've done a lot of work, even with you, Mr. Burgle, in trying to plan out the walkability and bikeability of our city, and that discussion will continue, and we will utilize an opportunity to incorporate that into this parking lot expansion project. Any other discussion? All right. All in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. All right, we have concluded the items on our agenda. We will now open up the floor to citizen comments. If anyone is here who would like to make a comment, who has a question or concern, please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record. Please note that neither council nor I may respond to you, but please note that we are listening. The floor is now open.
Good evening, Glenwood Warren, 716 Sark Drive. I have a public service announcement. The Winning Academy, 621 Walnut Street, is having the annual Family Fun Festival. It'll be Sunday, November the 2nd, from 2 to 4 p.m. There'll be music, food, games, inflatable, fire trucks, hay rides, face painting. There'll also be a chili cook-off, cake walks, much more. For more information, call 478-302-5815. Looking forward to see you there.
Thank you. November 2nd. First Sunday in November. Thank you, Minister Warren. Will there be any others? Going once? Going twice? Okay.
Good evening, Mayor. Just want to, excuse me?
Please.
Name is Kenneth Whitaker, 431 Dunmurray Place, Warner Robins, Georgia. Just want to let you know, on January the 12th, we'll be having our Neighborhood Watch meeting, and hopefully you'll be able to make it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whitaker. Will there be any others? Going once? Going twice? The door is now closed. All right, so now it's time for council comments. And next up to go first is going to be Councilman Lashley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Appreciate the short agenda tonight. That was awesome. It's been a very long day. Not really much to say. I would like to congratulate my youngest daughter and her team from Fagan Mill. They won the county championships in cheer. I think it's like 12 years in a row they've won it, so it's pretty good. But other than that, I think about the only thing I mean, November is going to be a fun month for meetings if y'all want to pop some popcorn for those. So just be ready. May want to pack a lunch or a dinner, I don't know. But other than that, please remember to go out and vote. This is a very important election. There's a lot of items, particularly our mayor that we have up here, that we would like to see here for another 4 years. But there are also several other items on that ballot that are very important. You know, Public Service Commission doesn't get a lot of highlights, but it is a very, very, very important program. If you want to maintain your power and energy consumption bills at as low a possible rate as you can, I promise you need to make sure that you're voting in that and vote wisely. Don't listen to the hype about all the green stuff that's out there, because that is a money pit. So that's just my 2 cents, and I get to make my comment then. So, but other than that, thank you for allowing me to be up here. What is almost another year. We're coming up on the end of this year. It's amazing. I sit and think about it all the time, how amazing it is that to go from a young kid in this town growing up to where I'm sitting now, and what the future holds for this community is very exciting. So thank you again.
Thank you, Councilman Lashley. Question. So for the Houston County Cheer, are they added to our city champs? Would that make them?
Oh, that was Fagan Middle that won the county. We haven't, Houston County Cheer and all of that is in the end of November. They'll host region and then states in December. So, but yeah, we can add county champs is nice.
You'll let us know who makes the list.
Oh, yeah.
Because you watch the cheer stuff closely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated.
Thank you. All right, Councilman Holmes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I'd like to thank each and every one of you present tonight. I see the ladies in pink and green, AKAs. Thank you all for coming out and representing tonight also. I'd also like to, whoever has knocked down the theater on North Lake Shopping Center, I appreciate it. I was hoping we could make a museum out of that, but it's gone now. It's nothing but rubbles. But thank you for whoever is doing that. They're doing a good job. I was approached about that yesterday. As we know, anytime we got vacant buildings or places, we're going to have some people gather who are not accepted. You know, I don't know if a death took place or not, but one lady told me that she thought a death took place. But that's neither here nor there because there's nothing I can do about that. But I am thinking whomever is knocking that down and cleaning it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Holmes. And yes, one of my friends, they own it, and they've knocked it down because they believe in the things we're doing, revitalizing the new downtown and the downtown development district of our city. So that's a great win. I talked to them about it about 2 weeks ago. So that's a good thing. And there was a fire in the structure. I wasn't aware of anyone deceasing from it, but it made them have to make a decision, which was a good decision for us, which is tearing it down and allowing something new to be built there in correlation with the projects we're talking about with redeveloping our downtown district.
Mayor, thank you for what you do. And, you know, if it was bad, you'd get the credit. So it's good. I'm giving you the credit.
Thank you, Councilman. Even though someone else tried to take credit, but that's okay. Yeah, the owners will handle that later. But on to the next. Councilman Curtis, it's your turn.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We most definitely need to add Northside Middle School 7th grade football team for the county championship they won. My son goes to Thompson, and my daughter goes to Northside by design. And yeah, that was, I think Northside beat Thompson. Northside did beat Thompson, and that was a very interesting conversation between those two in my house, but to move on. But I just want to say I actually, to piggyback off something Lashley said about voting, early voting is going on right now. Last week I had the pleasure to cast my vote for two of my partners in progress. And it was an honor to cast my vote for those two individuals, being Derek Mack and Miss LaRonda Patrick. While at the polls, there was a lot of people that approached me and just wanted to make sure that I let council know that y'all are doing a magnificent job. And they really appreciate the things that you're doing and how you're moving the city forward. So I just want to make sure I get it out to y'all so y'all can know that people are watching, people are listening, they're taking recognition to what we're doing. I'm going to reserve my comments for Haven Hope House, and I'm going to allow that for the mayor, but I will say that we will not be arresting homeless individuals for leaving trash on the side of the road.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mack.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to recognize the fact that I too casted my vote for you as well, Madam Mayor, in hopes for you being reelected. And also I want to give a big shout out to the legislative staff of the Houston County Board of Education, particularly for Warner Robins High School and all of their teachers and the fantastic job they do with those kids and at Northside. I know there's been a lot said about not letting their kids go to Warner Robins High School recently, but I worked very close with the former principal, Mr. McCook, and I worked close with Dr. Ricky Rogers with giving our kids an opportunity to exceed by giving them the tools where they need them, when they need them, in every school in this county. Houston County Board of Education is one of the top-notch programs in the state of Georgia. And I'd like to publicly recognize them for that. to impart, I have kept it quietly. I told the mayor I've established some meetings with the 402nd Group Commander, Colonel Josh DePaul, and Ricky Rogers and his team to establish some tours, starting with our middle school students to drum up interest in aviation maintenance, because being in an HR role, I see where we've casted a net all around the state of Georgia and beyond its borders, looking for people to come work here. We've got a lot of people locally that don't know how to get hired on the base or what it entails, because our young folk think that it's associated with war. So if it were not for a tour when I was 16, it promoted something different for me to do, and I wanted to join the military because of what I saw and the pride that I saw in maintaining those aircraft that provide freedom from everybody in this country, and a lot of it happens right here in Warner Robins, Georgia. So with Dr. Rogers and his team, thank you for meeting with me and facilitating those future tours for the maintenance facilities at Robins Air Force Base for our youth to see exactly what happens in that capacity. As far as working at Robins Air Force Base in the maintenance group and preparing themselves to be ready to take on those roles, because everybody may not end up going to college, so you can pick up a trade and probably have some dual enrollment with Central Georgia Tech, and maintaining a GPA to prepare them to take on that role as they become young adults. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Bibb.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. The Filipino community, it was awesome to see him here. We support you, love you, and we're so glad you're in the community and a part of life and doing life together here in the international city. It was an honor to see that. We always awesome pray for the men and the women of domestic violence, because it happens to men too. And we pray that we get control of that, and that we show up and show off for anybody that struggles with that in our community or is a victim of that, that we are there for them. My wife has been doing this to me and telling me to button up my lip a little bit, and so I'm not going to go off like I want to, but I am going to say a couple of things because I just can't help it, okay? I got one on you, Councilman Lashley. You tripped me out 2 weeks ago when you called us all lapdogs. Well, I want you to know I got one up on you. We are called worshipers now, that we worship the mayor, that we bow down to her. And so that struck me a little wrong. And I just want to tell the young man that if you, by chance, in snowball's hell of chance, that you win this election, you're going to have a hard time working with this council up here, because you just slided everybody up here. I just want you to know that. I just want to tell you to calm down, take a deep breath. What I would have done is kind of got in touch with every one of us and sat down and had a conversation. I just want you to know that, young man. Wisdom is everything in life. Wisdom. Now, I want to say this. The homeless shelter. Congratulations to Warner Robins, to the mayor, council, everybody in this city that has played a part, and did something to open up the Warner Robins shelter. I just want to say that it was an amazing, amazing feat. It was a long time coming. I've heard for 7 years on council that we have to do something about the homeless shelter. We have to do something about the homeless people in our community. And we have set forth and got it done with this administration. It took a minute, but we were steadfast, pushing forward, and got it done. And I want to tell you something. I care about animals, but I care about people a whole lot more than I care about dogs and cats. And I know people, cat and dog lovers, and that's okay. But I care about a soul and a human life a whole lot more than I do other things. And to compare animals to a soul and a human being is just disgraceful to me. It is absolutely disgraceful. Because I'm going to tell you something else about homeless. It is not their identity. It is not who they are. It is something that has happened to them in their life. And everybody that is homeless is a person. They have a story. They have a family. And they have had some tragedy that has come along in their life. And you know what? I believe in the Warner Robins. I believe in our city. I believe in our city because I went over there to a grand opening and a ribbon cutting. I seen our city show up. I seen a politician show up. up. I seen everybody, community leaders, business leaders, people, churches in our community show up and was proud that Warner Robins opened that shelter. And I'm going to tell you something else. People need a hand up, and they need some help. I needed help in my life at times. And all of us can relate to that. We may have not got down to that point, but that is not those people's identity. They are people. And they need help. And they needed a city to come alongside of them and tell them we care. And our homeless shelter is a help up to help these people. I'm going to tell you one more thing. I'm glad we put it there, and I'm glad we put it close to downtown. I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because I believe in our business people that come and open our downtown, that they will take an initiative to come over to this homeless shelter and grab some of these people that have went through the program and want to change their life and give them a job and employ them and help them along the way to be better in life. And I'm telling you right now, some people better do a check and check their priorities about people. My community is way better than that. You could get people to cheer you all you want to, but I'm telling you, the wisdom of life, you headed down the wrong direction. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. And Councilman Lawrenson.
Well,
sorry you have to follow that.
I would.
I do too.
I would have to follow Brother Councilman Bibb, but I was there too on last Friday, and there was such a great energy in the air. What a joyful time. And I just want to thank everyone. You know, the city of Warner Robins played a big role. The mayor certainly played a big role, Brian Wise. But this is really a community thing. I mean, the number of businesses that want to help, the number of people that want to help is just a blessing. I know there's so many churches around, you know, they're wanting to plug in and wanting to get involved. And I am grateful to the church ministry that's going to be operating this. And I know sometimes we're going to say, well, you ought to do it this way, you ought to do it that way. But I certainly am grateful for their willingness to do that, because it's gonna be something really beneficial for our community, and most of all for our people. You know, I hear a lot of people talking about voting and who's the best person, all that kind of stuff. But you know, it's really it's a pleasure and a privilege to be able to recommend someone that you work with, that you support, and that supports you. And, you know, as a council person, a lot of times, and you guys probably can share it, and Mayor, you can too, a lot of times people ask our advice sometimes, well, who should I vote for? And it's such a pleasure to be able to say, hey, the mayor's doing a fantastic job. We're going to support her. Or Councilman Mack is just fantastic. He does all his research, and he's very well studied, and he does a great job. It's great to be able to do that. That's a pleasure. And I can't say that's always been the case, but it is. It is now, and I'm grateful. I also want to thank our police department. I was actually a victim of a crime just 2 weeks ago, involved in a hit-and-run accident right down here on South Davis Drive in front of the high school. And, boy, those flock cameras, they're something else, y'all. They're unbelievable. The person that hit me and took off, they were able to put, this stuff has real AI in it now. They were able to put characteristics about that vehicle into a system. And every time that particular characteristic hit on any of the flock cameras anywhere in Middle Georgia, it picked them up. And you could literally follow it all the way back to Macon. They followed it all the way to their job the next day. It's just amazing. I mean, I would say it's scary, but I'm grateful that it's able to do that. So fantastic work. Within less than 24 hours, crime solved. So, and I'm grateful that I wasn't injured. And you know, it was just a little shocking, but thank you all for reaching out to me and checking up on me on that. Many of you actually came by and stopped, and I appreciate it very much. I really do. You know, we've got some stuff coming up in the next few meetings, some real passionate zonings and annexations, and I understand that the planning and zoning meeting was very well attended, this last one, and then there was a lot of energy there. And I want to thank my council and mayor for for always looking at each individual situation and weighing it accordingly. We've made some mistakes over the past 12 years in zonings and annexations, haven't we, Clifford? And I'm not talking about you in general, but we've seen some situations where we've erred. Right? We've seen some situations where we made some bad decisions, not talking about us, but just collectively as a group, that if we had to do it over again, we'd do it differently, wouldn't we?
Yes, sir.
Right. So I feel like we're really considering each individual situation and what it brings to that particular area, what it brings to that neighborhood. And, you know, growth is good, but not all growth is good. And being able to control how things are done and how they impact neighborhoods is one of the most important things we can do. And so I'm very grateful that we're able to do that. And I'm thankful for our planning and zoning, because y'all, they put up with a lot of stuff, man. They get hammered pretty bad in those meetings, and people insult them and call them names sometimes. But, you know, it's our job to make that final decision. And I think we always try to do our very, very best to make the best decision. And so we got a few coming up here, and I know we're going to do well with it. And I look forward to serving with you guys for the next 4 years. It's going to be a great 4 years, y'all. We're looking forward to it. God bless.
Thank you, Councilman. Well, thank you for all of the comments tonight, and thank you all for your encouragement of me while I'm on the ballot, the only one with opposition. But just as a reminder, we do have Post 5, Councilman Clifford Holmes, Post 3, Councilman Keith Lawrenson, and Post 1, Councilman Derek Mack. We're all on the ballot together, and I'm so proud of the 3 gentlemen who don't have any opposition. It really does speak volumes of how much your work is appreciated inside your posts, and I certainly appreciate everything that you've done, not just the 3 on the ballot this term, but the other 3 as well. I look forward to them being unopposed when it's their term too. Well, for me, I'm just thankful to have been given a chance the first time, and I look forward to a chance a second time. Promises made, promises kept, but I will digress. I do want to shout out, I do see some of the Divine Nine in the room. Members of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated are here visiting with us today, as well as the fine ladies of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Thank you all for being here with us today. I'm looking at the clothing. Did I miss someone else? That's right. And the Smooth Brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Thank you for being here as well, and the leadership for the Panhandle. We had our trunk or treat last Thursday, which is, I think that's our biggest food truck roundup we've had. It first started my first year. Council and I decided to do something for the kids. It's been tremendous, and it is on the north side of town, so we do things on the north side of town after all. But for that event, we had, according to our software, 16,000 in attendance. It was a huge event. It was a huge event, our largest number to date. It's going to continue growing. I think it almost doubles every year. So we're going to be looking at some new traffic patterns for the trunk or treaters next year. We'll have even more participants in the community. So you all get ready to have your trunks or your tables or your tents to give out some candy to the kids. We're going to need lots and lots of help from the community next year as it continues to grow. So I just want to thank all of the team that made Trunk or Treat a success this year. If you are here and you were a part of the planning of this event, I ask if you will please just stand up so that we can properly thank you. I'll wait. Okay? Thank you so much, and PD as well, and actually it was a lot of players. I'm not even going to name them because I'll miss somebody, then I'll get mad. But a lot of team effort went into this, so thank you. Haven Hope House had its ribbon cutting. I do just want to call out some of our sponsors that are going to be with us to the long haul when it comes to providing these specialized services to those who will be at the shelter, and that is Middle Flint Behavioral Health, the Department of Behavioral Health, Volunteers of America, AmeriCorps, First Primary Health Care. I think that's the list. I don't see Brian to tell me if I'm wrong. But those are the ones that'll be there for the long term with us to provide those services so that we're not having to cover it out of our taxpayer dollars. It'll be covered from their budgets because they're already paid to provide the services to those who qualify in our community. The problem was they didn't have access to those who are living in the woods or who are homeless because they don't have addresses, they don't know how to reach them. So now we have a partnership with these organizations where they'll have a space inside of our shelter when needed, and now they can access the individuals who qualify for the services, and now they can serve them with their mental health needs, their medications, getting them all of their resources that they are entitled to. So it is a great mixture of capabilities at the shelter, and we'll be providing services not just for those who will sleep there, but also for individuals in the community as a whole as well. With the assembly leading the way, operating the shelter, it's going to be a great impact in our community. So I want to personally thank my council for believing in the vision and believing that we can do what some said we could never do, and actually making sure we are about service. We're about serving people because that's what elected officials are supposed to do. And if you remember back in 2021, I said the very thing. I want to be the change I want to see. Service is about, elected officials need to be about service. And if they don't have a servant's heart, then they are not fit to serve as an elected official, in my opinion. And I live that every day. My council lives that every day. And it looks like we're shifting a little bit of the others to start trying to live that every day. We still have some more work to do, but I'm very pleased for the progress we have made in my first term, which a lot of it is included on the north side of town. We represent all sides of town, a lot of stuff on the other sides of town too. Let's see, I think I have one more thing. Oh, one last tidbit for enriching our lives. Bullying never pays off. So bullying never pays off, and bullies don't make good leaders. So let's be very mindful of that throughout life. Teach our children, our grandbabies, our babies, bullying does not pay off. People who bully cannot be great leaders. People have to allow you to lead them. And if you bully them, they're not going to allow you to lead them, so you can never be a great service to the community. So let's keep that in mind. The bullying, the threatening is not going to be accepted by the city of Warner Robins and its residents, because we are better, we deserve better, and we will always be better. So with that, I will tell you that the comment section is over, but for you all, you can go home, but council and I have executive session for real estate.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn to executive session for real estate.
And I'll second that with a smile.
Motion by Councilman Lawrence and seconded by Councilman Bibb. All in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries. We're exiting for executive session. We are not sure if action will be taken following executive session, but it will be quick because we're ready to go home. We'll see you guys in November, and have a great week.